Recording is on. Right. So this is our यहाँ पर हम थे. So now in the last classes we had completed these sequence diagrams over here. Then now after completing this sequence diagram, what we'll try to do is, and we like to update this static model. So we had already added some attributes in a static model, so that is in your domain model. Now after identifying different operations with that has been shown in your sequence diagram. So हम यहाँ क्या करेंगे कि जो हमारे पास सीक्वेंस डायग्राम से जितने ऑपरेशंस अभी मिले थे, उन सारे ऑपरेशंस को अब हम हमारे बुक स्टोर में ऐड करने की कोशिश करेंगे. सो हमारे बुक स्टोर वाले जो फाइनली हम जो एक केस स्टडी लेके चल रहे थे उसके स्टैटिक मॉडल, दैट इज डोमेन मॉडल में ऐड करने की कोशिश करेंगे. सो व्हाई वी आर गोइंग फॉर दिस, बिकॉज ये जो हमारे पास अभी स्टैटिक मॉडल जो डोमेन मॉडल मिला है, ये फाइनली कन्वर्ज होगा आपके पास आपके क्लास डायग्राम में. तो जस्ट हम ऐसा नहीं बोल रहे कि हम क्लास मॉडल बनाएंगे. बिकॉज दिस इज एन एवोल्यूशनरी प्रोसेस, तो हमको हमारे पास क्लास मॉडल फाइनली एक इवॉल्व होके हमारे पास आएगा. सो हमने बाउंड्री क्लासेस आइडेंटिफाई करी थी, तो these are new boundary classes over here. Then we had identified different functions that are associated with each classes, जो हमने इन मेथड्स में आइडेंटिफाई करा था. तो हमने यहाँ पे मेथड्स आइडेंटिफाई करी थी. नाउ वी आर आइडेंटिफाइंग, और हम सारी जो वैल्यूज हैं वो सारे एट्रीब्यूट्स एज वेल एज आर ऑपरेशंस, वो सारे ऑपरेशंस हम यहाँ ऐड करने की कोशिश करेंगे. फॉर दिस एग्जाम लाइक दैट इस एग्जाम्पल में जैसे हमारे पास एक राइट कस्टमर कंट्रोलर है, तो एक एरो यहाँ से यहाँ आ रहा है. इट मीन्स कि यहाँ पर कोई ऑब्जेक्ट बना है या एक ऑब्जेक्ट ऑलरेडी बना हुआ है, यहाँ से हम इस ऑब्जेक्ट को कॉल कर रहे हैं. तो फंक्शन यहाँ पर इस मेथड के साथ होना चाहिए था. जो हम मेथड ऐड करेंगे, ये एरो जिस पे आ रहा है, इसका मतलब यहाँ पे यहाँ का फंक्शन कॉल कर रहा है. तो हम जो फंक्शन लिखेंगे राइट कस्टमर रिव्यू कमांड, सो ये वाला जो फंक्शन है हमारे पास इस वाली क्लास में राइट कस्टमर रिव्यू कंट्रोलर जो ऑब्जेक्ट है उसकी एसोसिएटेड क्लास में हमारे पास आएगा. सिमिलरली जैसे हमारे पास था सेट बुक, तो सेट बुक हमारे पास कहाँ आएगा, राइट कस्टमर रिव्यू क्लास जो हमारे पास आ रही है. तो उस रिव्यू उसकी जो क्लास है, उस क्लास में हमारे पास ये फंक्शंस आएंगे. हमने जहाँ से स्टार्ट करा था वहाँ से फंक्शंस नहीं आएंगे, फंक्शंस जहाँ पर एंड हो रहे हैं. तो यहाँ का फंक्शन कॉल हो रहा है इस ऑब्जेक्ट से, इस ऑब्जेक्ट से फंक्शन कॉल हो रहा है इस ऑब्जेक्ट का. तो फंक्शन कहाँ होगा, फंक्शन इस ऑब्जेक्ट की क्लास में होगा. सो यहाँ से हम फंक्शंस ऐड करना चालू करते हैं. सो हमारे पास बाउंड्री पर है, दिस इज अ डिस्प्ले फंक्शन. सो दिस इज अ बाउंड्री, सो इट इज़ एन डिस्प्ले फंक्शन जो हमको कुछ डिस्प्ले करने की मदद करेगा. देन वी आर हैविंग सम बुक डिटेल्स, सो बुक डिटेल स्क्रीन. सो अगेन वी आर हैविंग डिस्प्ले फंक्शन जो आपको डिटेल्स डिस्प्ले करेगा. देन राइट फ्रॉम दिस वी आर हैविंग 3 different classes, that is an customer session. Again we are in right review screen, and again we are in login screen. So this customer session and this book details are related with the dependency relationship. So what is this dependency relationship? Is that your book detail screen, this book detail screen, this is boundary class, solely depends on your customer session. अगर कस्टमर लॉग्ड इन नहीं है, तो अगर इसका एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं है तो इस क्लास का भी एग्जिस्टेंस नहीं होगा. सो दिस इज हाउ वी कैन से दैट योर बुक डिटेल स्क्रीन इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन योर कस्टमर स्क्रीन. सिमिलरली सेशन कैसे बनेगा, सेशन लॉगिन से बनेगा. तो अगेन ये क्लास भी कहाँ से बनी हुई है, सो दिस क्लास इज अगेन डिपेंडिंग ऑन दिस. सो अभी हम इस क्लास पे बात कर रहे हैं, हमने यहाँ सारे दूसरे रिलेशनशिप आइडेंटिफाई नहीं करें. अगेन वी आर हैविंग अ बुक कलेक्शन, सो ये तो ऑलरेडी हमने आइडेंटिफाई करा था. दिस इज एन aggregation relationship, so this is a whole and this is part. Now we can identify whether this aggregation relationship is either a composite relationship or this is just an has a relationship over there. Again, so we had mapped this dependency relationship in this example. Now we like to add some more functionalities in between this. So we are having again in boundary classes, because we are having some boundary classes available here. So what we can do is that this is an boundary class, this is an boundary class. Now going for some implementation view. तो आपने कभी अगर वेबसाइट्स बनाई होंगी तो वेबसाइट में आपने एक टेम्पलेट फाइनल करा होगा आपकी ओवरऑल स्क्रीन का, बाकी उसके अंदर जितने भी ऑब्जेक्ट्स आते हैं, जैसे पेज चेंज होते जाते हैं तो उसके अंदर का कंटेंट्स चेंज होता है। जैसे हम HTML की बात करें तो HTML में एक फॉर्म बनता था और उस फॉर्म के अंदर जो है आपके दूसरे एलिमेंट्स जो स्टैटिक डायनामिक आइटम्स थे हर पेज पे चेंज होते थे, हेडर्स फुटर सेट करा जाता था। लाइक एज इन केस ऑफ .NET, तो .NEट में हम क्या करते थे, .NEट में हमारे पास एक वेब मास्टर नाम का एक पेज बनता था और उसके बीच का आइटम्स जहाँ पर आपके पेजेस चेंज होते थे वो सारे दूसरे पेजेस वहाँ पर ऐड होते जाते थे। सो लाइक जैसे मेरे पास ये PPT है तो इस PPT में मेरे पास जैसे दिस इज ब्लू स्क्रीन, दिस इज ब्लू टेक्स्ट बॉक्स एंड दिस इज वाइट। तो यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है कि इस जगह पर मेरा एक हेडर आ रहा है, तो इस हेडर एक यूजुअली दिस इज एन माई हेडर और दिस इज माई टेम्पलेट। तो व्हाट कैन आई डू इज दैट I can create an template for this boundary classes, and all the remaining slides for this example, all the remaining slides will inherit this template, and then it can add another item. So for this example, let's say मैंने एक सिंपली एक टेम्पलेट बनाया था और सिंपली उस टेम्पलेट में क्या करूँगा, मेरे पास एक ब्लू स्क्रीन थी, वाइट स्क्रीन थी और यहाँ पर मैंने एम्प्टी स्पेस छोड़ दी, यहाँ पर मैं अपना एट्रीब्यूट ऐड कर सकता हूँ। यहाँ पर मैंने कुछ वैल्यूज छोड़ दी थी, इसका मतलब ये है कि मैंने यहाँ पर एक फंक्शन बना सकता हूँ। सो फॉर दिस एग्जाम्पल हमारे पास जो बाउंड्री क्लास आ रही है, दिस इज माई बाउंड्री क्लास। तो बाउंड्री क्लास में मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, एक मैंने टेम्पलेट बना दिया, देन दिस इज एन लॉगिन स्क्रीन, दिस इज बुक डिटेल स्क्रीन एंड सो मच बाउंड्री क्लासेस हो रही है। तो हमने क्या करा, हम इम्प्लीमेंटेशन पे जाते हैं तो आपके पास एक सिंपल व्यू बाउंड्री क्लासेस आ रही है, मतलब आपकी जो मेन टेम्पलेट आ रहा है वो एक मेन टेम्पलेट आप यहाँ बना दें। देन सारी स्क्रीन जो हैं वो सारी स्क्रीन इसको इनहेरिट करेंगी, देन उसको इनहेरिट करने के बाद अपनी एडिशनल प्रॉपर्टीज़ वो यहाँ ऐड कर देंगे। अदरवाइज जो डिस्प्ले पेज है, जैसे आपके पास हम HTML का पेज खोलते हैं तो HTML के पेज पे भी आपके पास हेडर हमेशा वैसे ही जाता होगा, उसके मेनूज अलग अलग जाते होंगे। इन एडिशन आप फिर SVIT के अंदर आते हैं तो SVIT के अंदर आपके पास फिर दूसरी चीज़ें आती हैं। तो हम कहना ये चाहते हैं कि आपके पास एक राइट फ्रॉम फर्स्ट व्यू, वो फर्स्ट व्यू आप एक जनरेट करें और उस फर्स्ट व्यू को जनरेट करने के बाद हम क्या कर सकते हैं, उन बाउंड्री क्लासेस जो डिफरेंट बाउंड्री क्लासेस, इवन these are the boundary classes. So for this boundary classes we can inherit the major properties right from your main display boundary classes, and then the remaining are the specialized functions will be added to your specialized classes or down your hierarchy. So this is how we can add and specialization and generalization functionalities so that we can provide and general functionalities for all the boundary classes. So this is how we can represent a boundary generalization relationship for our boundary classes. Then again, so likewise I like to merge or show book details as well as write customer review static model. So this has been generated right from drawing a sequence diagram for this show book details and the write customer review book. So again, for only those two cases we can add some relationship over there. So this is this new classes here is been added. So this is an home controller, so this is just an boundary classes for R, and this is the functions that are function that is being available. So this is a function, and that we can say that this book detail controller and the home controller is dependent on your model and view classes. So this model and view classes shows how your screen will be visible to all those items. Now again a dispatcher servlet class. So what is this dispatcher servlet class? This dispatcher servlet class acts as a controller for those as well as your this is our boundary classes. So this again boundary class depends on this model and view. So it gets some properties from here and its dependency. So this is again a some updated static domain state model. So this is how we can show that our relationships over there. Then in addition to our static and different diagrams, we are having again an additional diagram, that is an activity diagram. So this is just an behavioral diagram. So it shows the dynamic aspects of your system. So it represents, so we can say that it is a generalization or UML way of drawing your flow diagram or flow chart in your object oriented analysis and design. So जैसा हम flow diagram या flow charts use करते थे, now we are going for object orientation. So a way, this is a way to how we can represent a flow chart in our object orientation. So ये पूरे सिस्टम का भी बन सकता है. देन अगर आपके पास स्पेसिफिक पैकेज है तो एक स्पेसिफिक पैकेज का भी बन सकता है, और वी कैन से हम एक यूज केस या डिफरेंट यूज केसेस में बना सकते हैं. बट वी लाइक टू अवॉइड फॉर एन स्पेशल यूज केस, बिकॉज एक स्पेशल यूज केस के लिए हम सीक्वेंस डायग्राम बना रहे हैं. हियर व्हाट वी आर ट्राइंग टू डू इज वी आर गोइंग टू मैप ओवरऑल फ्लो ऑफ our system or a subsystem or a package or a component. So we should avoid drawing a sequence diagram for each use case. Instead we can go for overall system or the subsystem or the component or the package. Now when to use this activity diagram? So this activity diagram describes how your activities are coordinated to provide the services. So जैसा मैंने बोला था कि हम जो भी आपका flow of events आ रही है वो सारी events को हम यहाँ पर map करेंगे. So that event those events need to be achieved by some operations. So आपके पास operations हैं तो एक operation दूसरे operation को कैसे call करेगा, जैसे like as an example that is a login, then check whether it is a valid login or false login. Then after identifying whether it is in logged in, then we'll go for creating a session for the user. Then after having sessions, we can have different types of users available, like one is an administrator, second one is a customer, third one is a seller, and so on. So we can fork from them. So different activities for different types of user that is being available for us. So we are having some different, we can perform some parallel operations over there. So all those activities and all those events we can map in our activity diagram. Then comes, so this is example of your sequence diagram. So right from this starting point, so some text says that this is a start point of your activity diagram, and visual paradigm says that this is a precondition. So we can go for anything. So if we are mapping overall system, so we can that we are starting from this black colored circle. So this is a start point, or for an specific operation we can say that this is a precondition for some flow of events available here. So either this is a precondition or this is a starting of event right from, and denoted as a black dot, a black circle over here. Then we are in some actor inputs available. So this is an arrow which shows the input provided by your actor. So we will not represent actor over here. This is in a single activity diagram. Then this is round edged circle over here. So it shows your steps, like this is a login, then create sessions, and so on. So these are different steps that has been taken during the computation or execution of your system. Then this is a condition. So we'll go for basic course as well as this alternative flow or the extension of flow. So this is either your alternative course that has been shown in your use case description, and this is your basic course, or this is an extension flow that is that we had used in our use case diagram. So this is extend relationship over here. So this is a, then this is again joining your return your basic flow as well as your alternative flow. Instead what you can do is that you can delete this node over here. So we can join this by this a simple vertical rectangle. So this vertical rectangle represents your forking of events. So from here you can execute two parallel events over here, 2 or 3 or 4, many parallel events over here. So this is an here you can fork your different actions over here. Then this is in joining. So instead of having this again a condition over here, you can directly fork to your system, or sorry, join to your system over here. So this is an fork and this is an join. So this is just a representation how a parallel execution of different process joins over here or fork from here. then this is a post condition, or when we are in a we are representing whole system, so this is a stop condition. So either uh, this is a post condition or this is a stopping condition. So this is just an example. Then let's take an example over here. So we are having a process order or a process order system. So this is our problem description, is that once the order has been received, so once that order has been received, so this is an step over here. So once that order has been received, the activities splits into two parallel sets of activities. So activities are uh, splitted. So this is again in fork. We are forking our activities over here. Then one slide fills the send the order while the another handles the billing. So this is fills order, and second one is the send invoice. So then on the order side, the method of delivery is decided conditionally. So method of delivery is dependent conditionally. So we are having a condition over here. Either we can go for a rush order or otherwise. So for the rush order, depending on the condition, either this is overnight delivery activity or this is a regular activity. So this is an overnight activity, that is when this is an rush order. So you can go for rush order. So this is an arrange overnight activity or delivery over here, or this is a simple case. Then you can join over here, and then we can uh, join different systems over here. Another way is the set of execution, parallel execution, is that you can send invoice. So after receiving an order, either you can fill the order or you can send invoice. So after sending invoice, another step is receive payment to that. So you can receive your payments, and then after executing to do two parallel system, either you can go for here, or you can go for here, or anyone or both cases. And after having this execution, you can stop your condition, and this is the final execution of our activity data. So अभी तक कोई प्रॉब्लम आप लोगों को? Fine. No response, it means this is fine. Now another example, this is a student enrollment system. So for student enrollment system, let's say this is a problem description here. So an applicant wants to enroll in the university. So this is just a description. So applicant hands a filled out copy of enrollment form. So student starts here. So this is a flow of events by the actor. So these are your actors input. So he fill out his enrollment here. So if it is correct, so he can enroll in the university. Otherwise, if it is incorrect, so we are having two options. Either we can go for giving help to students, or he can fill out by his own, and then if it is correct, then we'll go for two parallel set of activities. So we are having two sets of parallel activities. Either he attends university overview presentation, or he can go for enrolling in the seminar, then make an initial payment, tuition fee payment here. Then we can merge all those items, and इसके बाद जो भी होना होगा वो देखते हैं. तो हमारे पास ये सारी इंफॉर्मेशन है. तो हम स्टार्ट करते हैं अगेन कि स्टूडेंट ने अपना एनरोलमेंट फॉर्म फिल करा है. सो दिस इज एन जस्ट एन स्टूडेंट एनरोलमेंट. आप जब भी कॉलेज आए होंगे तो आपने भी ये देखा होगा. तो स्टूडेंट फिल्स हिज एनरोलमेंट. देन आफ्टर फाइंडिंग द एनरोलमेंट, आइदर इट इज करेक्ट और इट इज रॉन्ग. सो this is just some error. So we can go for a decision box over here. So in this decision box, we checks either it is correct or it is wrong. So if it is correct, then he can enroll in the university, and if it is incorrect, then what we can do is that if it is incorrect, then we can go for providing help, or he can go for again he can go to fill out his form again by its own. So after having these forms, we are going for attending. So registrar inspects the form. So here your registrar inspects the form. Then the registrar informs the student to attend the university presentation, or registrar helps the student to enroll in the seminar. So here your registrar helps to students. So this is an attending your university presentation, or these two set of parallel activities over here. So this is just a simple example of an activity diagram. Again, we are going for another example. Then we are having some different types of examples. Like say we are having more than one actors available in our activity diagram. So previous to example like this, in this case and in this case, we are having only a single actor available, so we can represent all those activities without some much more trouble. But in this case, if we are having more than one actor, so this lines represents the actors input. So अब क्योंकि दो या दो से ज़्यादा हमारे पास एक्टर्स आ रहे हैं, तो अब हम क्या करते हैं, हमारा जो डायग्राम है उस डायग्राम को हम डिफरेंट डिफरेंट एक्टर्स में डिवाइड करते हैं. तो दिस इज नोन एज स्ट्रीमलाइन एक्टिविटी डायग्राम. सो इन केस ऑफ स्ट्रीमलाइन एक्टिविटी डायग्राम्स, तो जैसे हमारे पास ये केस है, दिस इज आवर कंसल्टेंट. तो ये वाला जो भी आपका पूरा रेक्टेंगल होगा, इस रेक्टेंगल में कंसल्टेंट ने जितनी भी एक्टिविटी परफॉर्म करी वो सारी यहाँ पर आएंगी. अकाउंटेंट आ रहा है, तो अकाउंटेंट ने क्या करा है, अकाउंटेंट ने कुछ ऐसा करा है कि अकाउंटेंट की जितनी भी एक्टिविटीज़ आ रही हैं वो इस वाले रेक्टेंगल में आएंगी. पेरोल सर्विस वाला जो एक्टर है उसकी सारी एक्टिविटीज़ इस केस में आएगी. देन अगर इन दोनों की कुछ कॉमन एक्टिविटीज़ हैं, ये दोनों कर सकते हैं, तो वो इन दोनों रेक्टेंगल के या इन दोनों स्विम लेंस के इंटरसेक्शन पे आएगी, मतलब इसकी बाउंड्री पर आएगी. तो ये वाली एक्टिविटी और ये वाली एक्टिविटी क्या होती है, ये दोनों कंसल्टेंट भी फिल कर सकता है और अकाउंटेंट भी कर सकता है. तो दिस इज कॉमन एक्टिविटी, तो हम इसको इस लाइन पे फिल करेंगे. अगेन अकाउंटेंट एंड पेरोल दोनों कुछ कॉमन एक्टिविटी कर सकते थे, तो वो कॉमन एक्टिविटी में यहाँ पर वो कॉमन एक्टिविटीज़ में यहाँ पर रिप्रेजेंट कर सकता था. सो अगर इस लाइन पर आ रही है, इसका मतलब ये है कि आप ये वाली एक्टिविटीज़ यहाँ पे कर सकें. सो अनदर वे ऑफ रिप्रेजेंटिंग, हमने ये हॉरिजॉन्टल लिया, नाउ दिस इज एन वर्टिकल. सो right from we are in three different actors available. First is a salesperson, second one is a consultant, and third one is a corporate technician. So our activity diagrams starts from here. So this is the first activity. After completing this activity, let's say this is business process meeting. So a salesperson calls a client to set up an appointment. So after having this, so we are having some decisions, either this appointment is on site or this appointment is off site. So if this is an on site, so we are on site, so we need an corporate technician that can prepare your conference room. So this corporate technician prepare a conference room for yourselves. Otherwise, if it's an off-site activity, if this is an off-site activity, so what we can do is just wait for 5 minutes. हाँ बोलो.
ट्रांसफर सर्टिफिकेट के लिए एप्लीकेशन दी थी, अब अभिषेक सर है ना सर, एचओडी सर नहीं है तो
So kindly wait for 1 or 2 minutes.
सर उनके एब्सेंस में सर क्या फिल करना है, हमें नीचे से बोला है कि फिल करवा के लाना.
Admission cancel.
यस सर.
So admissions वाले आ गए थे. Fine. Sorry for that interruption. So am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, fine. So
Yes, sir.
fine. Wait. So so this is my example. So we can either go for the on-site or we can go for off-site. So for our on-site, so we need another corporate technician available. So this corporate technicians prepare your conference room. So that is an activity that is being performed by the corporate technician. Or if it is an offsite, so we need a consultant that provides your consultation for your system. So he will prepare a laptop. So all those requirements or all those PPTs that are being used, so it will be available over here. Then after having your laptop is prepared or your conference room is available, so we can go for meeting with the client. So this consultant starts a meeting with your client, then the salesperson send a follow-up letter or just try to connect your client, so he will send connection and so on. So then we are having different sets of activities available. So these are different sets of activities are available. These are the set of activities available. So kindly wait just a 5 minutes. Yeah, am I audible this time? So we are having three different actors available. So these are being different activities that are being carried out by different actors here. So these are activities that are being carried by your salesperson. These are the activities that are being carried by your consultant, and these are the activities that are, or the steps that are carried by or executed by an actor, corporate technician available here. So these are three different activities. Meanwhile, if we are having some common activities like a salesperson and a consultant, either both can perform this execution. So what we can do is, we can create a step over here, and for this step we can write over here, or the common activities that are being performed by the consultant or the corporate, so we can go for over here. Now the question comes, if all the persons, like say salesperson and the consultant or the corporate technician uh, may perform some common activities that are common to overall system. So what we can do is that is, for an example, we are having a login activity available. So we can go for a login activity from this side. So we can remove this and we can start from this. So this is an login activity. So you can go for login activity, then we can start our flow of execution over here. So यहाँ पर मैंने कुछ भी नहीं लिखा है. So this is nothing over here. So this is a common attribute. So this is common for all. So यहाँ पर जब मैंने किसी भी एक्टर का नाम नहीं लिखा है, it means that it is common for all. Now if it is in common for these two consultants, so two actors, so I will provide in this rounded rectangle, or in this rectangle in case of consultant and technician. So if we are having more common activities, so I will write over here. So कोई problem till now? Hello?
No, sir.
Fine. So next comes advanced class modeling. So we are going from some advanced class modeling. So this is in my enumerations available here. So in addition to different set of activities that are being available, so this is one example, is that enumeration. So let's say this enumeration is just like a data type of that has some finite state of value. Instead of infinite, we are going from some finite states of value. So what this enumeration does is that it assigns a numerical value to your set of values. So like let's say in case of our, this is Microsoft PowerPoint, so we are having some weights for some lines. So this is 1.2 point, this is 1, then 2, 2.25, and then 4.5, and so on. So what we can do is that we can assign a numerical property for this categorical value. So we are having some different types of values. So this enumeration usually contains some categorical value, or we can say that these are discrete values and we are assigning orders to them. So we are converting these discrete values into the ordinal values. So what we can have is, so this enumeration provides an ordinal type of data. So we are having order of some particular entity. So for particular weight, so this is in lowest order and this is in highest order with associated some set of points over here. So this is just an enumeration. So we can go for enumeration available here. Then let's say when we are constructing a model, so we should carefully note when to use enumeration and when to use our generalization. So कई बार हमारे पास कुछ मिसकंसेप्शंस आते हैं कि हमको कौन सी क्लास रिलेशनशिप आइडेंटिफाई करनी है. हम so either we can go for enumeration or we can go for generalization. So we'll take an example when to use and generalization, when to go for enumeration over here. So what is this generalization? So we can introduce generalization only when wherein we are having at least a one subclass that can significantly add some attributes or operations, and those are not available for your superclasses. For an example, let's say this example. So let's say this is in card. So this is an card example. So we are having some ranking available. So either this is in spades and this is in clubs and this is in hearts and this is in diamonds. So we are having ranking available for each, like an ace and king or queen. So we are having ranking available. So we can use an enumeration for each and every word, and then we'll provide some ranks available. So this spades again inherits your card, this clubs inherits your card and hearts and diamonds and so on. So all this inherits their ranks from this card. So usually this is a wrong way for implementing the relationship in between them. So instead what we can do is that we have some correct order of mapping your relationship between your classes. So first one is that either we can create a class, this is card, and then we are having a attribute, this is suit, and then this is the ranks. So we are having different ranks available. Then one is enumeration. So we will provide an enumeration for this. So like for spades, so this is 0, then this comes clubs 1, then heart for 2, and this diamonds for 3. So when our suit is 0, it means that you are going from the spades. If your suit is 1, then we'll go for club, and then if it is 2, then we are having heart. So what are the fixed value for this is that this suit takes a value from right from 0 to 3. So we are having 4 types of 4 enumerations available. So we'll provide enumeration for this spade, club, hearts, and diamonds. In addition to that, what we can do is we can provide a rank. So here this is a rank is available right from 1 to 13. So this ace provide a rank 1, then or rank 0, then king is 1, then queen, and so on. So what we can do is, instead of mapping this tough relationship, this is generalization. So it is very hard to implement. Why? Because we are having some ranks available right from 1 to 3rd. Then we have to inherit the rank for all the spades and clubs and hearts. So when we are in this class card, so we have some difficulty to go either, like we can go for spades or clubs or hearts right from this in this class card. If we are having a value of suit is equals to 1, so we can go for club. So this is how we can maintain a flow of information right from one class to another. So from here we cannot move from our higher classes to the lower classes. So, and in addition to that, we are not adding some special properties in these classes. So what we can do is we can avoid this generalization relationship over here, and we can add enumeration relationship, and we can have some space, just an association relationship here. So this is, if this is suit is suit, if suit is 0, then we can go for spade and we can go for this ace. So we can create an link for this. Sorry, we can create an association between this class and then again from these classes. So this is how we can manage our classes, and we can have a less number of classes. Instead of having 5 number of classes, we are having a 3 number of classes available over here. So this is a way how we can map our relationship. Next one is scope. So again, so what is scope? So a scope indicates if a feature applies to your object or a class. So what is a scope? So let's say we are checking whether an attribute is suited for a class or not. So let's go for this example. So we are having a different classes. So one is phone messages, another one is phone mailbox, and third one is owner. So we are having some multiplicity available here. A person has a phone mailbox, and a phone mailbox has many number of phone messages available over here. So an attribute is available for this person is that name, a person names is available, or any primary key is available. Then we are having a for this particular person, let's say this is an what we can say that, let's say me. So this is person is Abhishek. So Abhishek has a phone mailbox. So I can have multiple phone mailboxes available. So for this phone mailbox, I can have a multiple number of message count. So how many messages I can store in my phone mailbox. Again, for that phone mailbox, I am having a phone number, this is a password, and this is greeting. So मेरे पास अगर दो सिम है तो मेरे पास नंबर ऑफ मैसेजेस अलग नंबर ऑफ सॉरी दो फोन मेल बॉक्स बनेंगे, और जब दो फोन मेल बॉक्सेस बनेंगे तो मेरे पास नंबर ऑफ मैसेज काउंट्स भी अवेलेबल होते हैं. एक सिम कितना प्रोवाइड करती है, दूसरा सिम कितना प्रोवाइड करती है. देन कम्स फोन नंबर ऑफ फोन मैसेजेस. तो एक फोन मैसेज, so we are having again an attribute. This is maximum number of duration of messages stored, and so maximum number of days it has been retained, then date of record, time of record, priority message and has been received. So इस एग्जांपल में देखें कि इस एग्जांपल में गलत क्या है. सो इस एग्जांपल में गलत ये हो सकता है, लेट्स से कि मेरे पास अगर दो सिम है और मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ मैसेजेस काउंट, तो एक सिम अगर मुझको 100 मैसेजेस स्टोर करने की परमिशन देती है, दूसरी सिम मेरे को 200 परमिशन सिम स्टोर करने की परमिशन देती है. तो मेरे पास ये वाला जो पैरामीटर है, ये वाला पैरामीटर अब यहाँ पर मेरे पास इररिलेवेंट हो जाता है. क्यों? क्योंकि ये हर एक मेल बॉक्स से हर एक पर डिपेंड करता है. तो हम यहाँ पे इसको स्पेसिफिक डिफाइन नहीं कर सकते. इन एडिशन टू दैट, हर फोन मेल बॉक्स पे हर फोन मैसेज का मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ ड्यूरेशन एंड मैक्सिमम ऑफ डेज आर रिटेन, ये भी हमारे पास अलग अलग हो सकता है. सो व्हाट वी आर सेइंग दैट व्हेन वी आर हैविंग सम डिफरेंट एट्रीब्यूट्स, सो वी कैन ऐड स्कोप ऑफ दिस एट्रीब्यूट. सो व्हाट number which type of attributes and what attributes to be added in particular classes, so that is been included in your scope of your classes. So either we can go for an object or we can go for classes. So finally we have to decide which attributes should be go for an object and which attribute should go for your classes. So इंस्टेड, सो अगर जब हमारे पास अलग अलग ऑब्जेक्ट्स बनेंगे तो इनकी वैल्यूज चेंज होगी. सो व्हाट वी कैन डू इज दैट वी कैन रिमूव दिस एट्रीब्यूट राइट फ्रॉम योर क्लासेस. सो here this is an preferred model, so I'm just removing these attributes and these two underlined attributes right from here, and I like to add new class, so which shows that the category name. So for a particular category I have different types of message duration and message retained. So depends on the object type. So if its object is like say this is Geo, so we are having different states of model, and if it is an Airtel, so we are having different state of our object. So it solely depends. So we have to find out the scope and whether we can go for an object or we can go for an classes. So this scope defines whether we are going these particular attributes to a particular class or a particular object. So this is from my side, and then we'll cover visibility and different advanced class properties in the next class. Meanwhile, if you are having some problem, so you can ask me.